Welcome to Music and Medicine. Welcome to Music and Medicine.
Welcome to Music and Medicine. I'm your host, Dr. Moshe Lewis.
I'd like to welcome Dr. Moshe Lewis, a full-time practitioner, rehab sports medicine physician who has dedicated the past education to others of COVID and what they need to personally do about it through dozens of webinars, QA sessions. He travels the world. He travels all over the place. He's writing education about PPE. But the reason why he's here today is because he has a passion for education of self-healing, not self-healing. What do you do?
Personal growth and development.
The mental. That's what I was trying to say. The word. See how it was perfect earlier, and you know what I'm saying. So
I know.
So, anyways, he's helping people understand how to deal with your stress, deal with things, and he has a real mission. He started his own TV show. He's here to tell us about what he's working on, and I'm so excited you're here. Tell the people who you are, and let's get to it.
Sure. No, I love it. So like you said, my name's Dr. Moshe Lewis. I do a show called Music and Medicine, where I simply really married two of my loves, but also two worlds I was in. I was in the music world for quite a bit. Still love and more, of course, now a spectator. And then the medicine, I'm practicing and seeing patients every day of the week. A lot of it of late, given a couple of years that we've been almost dealing with this now, has focused around COVID. And I think COVID really sends us this big wake-up call to really try to get on top of our health.
It does. It opened up our minds because, like I was saying earlier, it's like we were sitting there with nothing to do, and it's like, dude, my life is messed up. There's no distractions to get away from my depression or my stress or and everybody's irritated right now. It's like the whole world is fighting right now, and it's just sad that it's that way, but. What it did, it brought some good and it brought some bad. And I think more bad than good because people are still trying to walk it out.
Right. It's always a challenge. I always tell people to try not to operate from a spirit of fear. For those of us in the medical community, and in my background, I spent time studying viruses and we're trying to help people even today. It's early in the morning where we are, and I've already had 4 calls, and our focus is primarily on COVID. And these aren't quote unquote my patients. These are patients that are calling in because we have a COVID helpline. And so what we're seeing is that people don't have doctors, or certainly it's early on a Saturday, we can say that okay, most offices are closed and going to urgent care is expensive. So as you stated, this is a time to really try to be self-reflective and say, what can I do to show the people that I love that I really do care about them and go that extra mile when I can't maybe actually always be with them? And then what can I do to take care of myself so that I'm as healthy as I can be, because I can have different political views, but we tell people it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, in this case, self-preservation.
Health, staying alive.
Exactly, right? So, if these things seem really basic to do, and they are. Grandma told us, wash our hands. She said, if you wipe your nose and things like that, go clean yourself. And to be careful and cover up, bundle up when it's cold. A lot of these things our grandparents taught us. And these messages are coming back just with a mask and sanitary hand sanitizers, but wearing gloves if you're in the healthcare field or anything like that, touching food, and certainly not being too close to too many people too much of the time.
That's just normal stuff.
Exactly.
And we listen to grandma, we probably be healthier.
Exactly. I've written a couple of books, but one of the ones I'm working on is everything I needed to learn about medicine, grandmother taught me. Because we've gone back and looked at the chicken soup and looked at the gargling with salt water and the Vicks Vapor Rub, and those things certainly are very beneficial. We're not trying to knock down some of the more modern types of treatments, but we certainly can't forget some of the basics.
Oh, because you got to think, even in their time, they didn't have all the technology we had, right? And you got to think about, how did they survive? How did they, make it, stay alive? How did a 2-year-old in the 20s live? Different than a 2-year-old today, right?
Right.
And they made it.
Exactly. Right. There's a lesson to be learned. And Also being okay, we were hinting at this a bit earlier, being okay with just the calm. I can be okay with myself. I don't necessarily have to turn to drink or turn to an alcoholic substance or something that I know isn't good for me to deal with just being by myself for a period of time. Or I often tell people, if we're going outside, let's walk in a park or something of that nature, even in your backyard. If you have a backyard, okay, I'm just going to walk in my neighborhood, just easily feeling I can be comfortable doing something very simple and just take a simple enjoyment in that, without it always having to be, I've got to have so much stimulation in something that's so coming at me all the time, an amusement park, club and things of that nature. It's okay to be able to chill and enjoy just having some time to just enjoy nature. So that's often where I'm pushing people to get more of that sense of calm.
Yeah, definitely. Just disconnecting is sometimes hard, right? Because we're so addicted to gotta go, and especially with me as an entrepreneur, it's like, dude, I got to keep grinding. I got to keep moving. I don't have time to sit down for 5 minutes. But if you want to take care of yourself, you have to take that time for yourself and really disconnect. And I'm still learning. I'm like, dude, I'm on the grind. Here it is Saturday morning. I'm like, hey, let's go.
Sure.
So but the biggest thing that got me excited about meeting with you is to talk about mental health and the music.
Yes.
Your new TV show that you're putting out, it interviews artists, independent artists, big artists, just music artists in general, and you talk mental health. And Absolutely. Coming from the streets and stuff, it's not a subject that we love to talk about. You know Right. what I'm saying?
Right. Trying to really feel comfortable to go there is so important. And I felt so many of us look up to musical artists, and so many of them now, to be fair, are also coming forward with some of their stories. Let's really try to capture how not only they put it in music, but also how they make it through their struggle. Because for so many people, they could identify with statements. Music saved my life. Music is my life. I love music, and it helps me express the various stages I've gone through in my life. Almost everybody can relate to some, if not all, of those statements. And who greater than those that are writing music, regardless of how famous they may or may not be. The fame, as we know, is a bitter pill as well.
Yeah.
It's got its benefits, but as we've seen, it also creates tremendous pressure to continue to be successful. And all of us, if we can really be honest, we're human, we're imperfect, we make mistakes, we mess up. And even though it's a hard pill to swallow, not everybody's gonna like the way we look, dress, or sound as relates to our music. Doesn't mean that it's not good per se to somebody, it's just as you go out there to the public, it may not always receive with love what you put out from your heart. So getting those stories that we thought so important.
It is, because did you hear about Lil Wayne trying to commit suicide?
Suicide, I mean, that's just certainly one of the big
topics. And I'm like, dude,
that
you're worth $160 million. What are you stressed out about, right? But life doesn't care rich or poor. It's just life. Life just puts a number on you sometimes, and if you don't have the support around you that's uplifting you and continually to help build you up, then you fall to that dark side, and you're like, dude, what's the point of all this?
Right, exactly. And that key element is a place that so many artists can find themselves. There's so much to sort of being able to develop your mind. And it's not just them. It applies to the engineer. It applies to the entrepreneur. It applies to people that work hard every day that will always eventually hit some type of wall, barrier, mound, or mountain. And trying to get over it. For many people, music is one of those elements. For others, we talked about it being able to really sort of commune with nature, so to speak. Turning off the TV or internet or social media and unplugging even just for a few hours. And then yet another level, which is kind of the talk of today, music, really being able to find those songs that express, and they can help pick me up. When it's early on a Saturday, I know I need to get my gym on. When it's early on Sunday, I know I need to get my praise on. When it's a Monday morning and I need to get my work on for, a job, a career, a business, ownership, entrepreneurship. So that's really what we're trying to bring across by picking role models where, yes, on the surface, quote unquote, they have everything. But all of us, and we've seen this so much, we said, living in glass houses, it looks great from the outside, but inside, what's really going on inside our hearts, inside our minds, and obviously with COVID, inside our bodies. Can we recognize it, talk about it, and jump on top of it? Because before it becomes so much of an issue that clearly now we are really sort of decompensating. I need to go to the hospital. I need to check myself in because I'm having a mental breakdown, or I'm doing something very, very outlandish like abusing my body or my health or other people. We really want to have our community just be honest and say, look, we're humans, we're all in a struggle. Let's try to work through this together. And music is one of the ways to do that.
100%. That's the reason why when they told me about your show, I wanted to get you on to talk about it, because I'm like, man, somebody's actually creating something around music to talk about mental health and health in general. And I'm like, wow, let's do this, because to me, it's a big category that a lot of more people should be talking about, right? You see the guys that especially the rap artists I follow, right, that are more closer to my age, that has been around for a while. Right. You know, they talk about how they've been, you know, what they've gone through to get to where they're at today. It's not a pretty thing, right? There's only so many people that succeed at certain levels, right? I call them B artists, right? They used to be an A artist, now they're like a B artist, you know, fame wise, right, and financially wise. What did they do, right? They go back to what they know, you know, street hustling, and then you went up, you came down, you went up. I deal with that with entrepreneurship, you know, feast or famine, you know, you're feast or famine, right? But to be able to you know, have role models talking about mental health, people of name that people can recognize and say, wow, I didn't know such and such did that. Like, I forget the guy. He's either in sport. I think he's an ex-football player. He got a show right now, and he's interviewing people about mental health. And Lil Wayne, I didn't know Lil Wayne's story, right, but to hear him tell it, it was like, wow. I'm like, bro, you know, I understand life is jacked up. You know, he had a jacked up, you know, growing up in the Fifth Ward and all that. You know what I'm saying? So I get all that, you know, and I understand it. But we have to get to a place where we take responsibility for how we act and how we feel inside, and figure out, how can I fix that?
Right. And so you're right. I'm seeing more and more talks start to go on. I know Ms. Henson's doing stuff, Taraji B. Henson. So shout out to her for the work that she's doing in the mental health arena, as are other people. And so for us, what we thought, to marry the two together, music and medicine, we would start the dialogue with the artists and what they're going through, and then also talk about how it comes into their music, and then at the next level show people through some of the music that they're doing exactly how they're expressing and dealing with some of the things that they're trying to communicate. Because the talk is sort of a first step, and then sort of that showing and people really sort of understanding, what did you do? Obviously, we always have to plug and promote mental health and seeing a therapist and getting checked in. We know in our community that's
what I'm saying. Is like, what?
We don't do those types of things.
Go smoke something. Go drink something. We cool.
Exactly. Right. And there's free services now, so we try to promote a lot of those and bring them on the show as well to talk about the services that they provide. Because many times we don't know. We automatically assume, okay, first of all, there's already something to say. I'm talking to somebody. There may not be a pastor. It may not be a teacher or my family member. Anything outside of that is a no, very taboo. Then next, actually, find finances to do it. That's often another barrier where people say, well, I wouldn't, even if I felt comfortable to do that, can I afford to do it? Well, immediately I'm going to assume no, because healthcare is so expensive. So really trying to begin to give people those tools to take step by step to have access 24/7, to have it be free, and to know about the services they're providing it. And then again, hearing and seeing through artists that they know and love, or may not know a backstory of, really being able to understand, okay, you're not alone in this. Pretty much every single person on the planet, from the bottom to the top to the bottom, as the song goes, has been through various ups and downs. And sort of one of the little secrets that we could cover so many, but that I'll often try to work with clients through, and I have one today, a very well-known celebrity that's definitely struggling with things that so many people do, is part of the growth comes in the struggle. And we'll go over that again. Being able to grow as an individual really isn't always achieved by everything always going right and growing well. And where's that growth? Some of the things that we talked about when you first started. Growing as a man, growing as a father, growing as a human being, growing as a humanitarian, growing as an elder, growing in wisdom. That type of growth comes through experiences. And some of those experiences can be good, and we can be able to absorb it or enjoy it. And sometimes they go by so fast, I didn't even know she was that good for me.
You know what I'm saying?
realize how wonderful that situation was. It happened so fast.
Yeah.
But also some of it comes through the pain and the anguish and the hurt and the loss. And the biggest challenge is being able to see the other side of that mountain, so to speak, and get over that mountain and through that. And not only see it as this is the beginning of my end, because my bank account looks more embarrassing than somebody else's and it's got a lot of negatives in it. If it gets zero, it's I owe the bank. Now you have a negative balance in the bank. And all of us have been there. Hello. I'm on assistance. I can't have work. I got that contract canceled after I did the work, and now they're not going to pay me and they're playing funny with my money. All of us as humans deal with these types of things. And that's just in the financial realm. We deal with relationships. We deal with personally feeling defeated, feeling overwhelmed. So really trying to take those next steps of having the dialogue, as you say, which is a great place to begin, but then showing people and having them understand the statement that we started with, that we'll end with. The growth comes from the struggle. That's just something that for many people, just as a first level, can be so eye-opening. I never really thought that all this stuff you were making me go through, whatever my higher power may be, actually can make me a stronger and a better individual, and have me, if I can understand it and analyze it and appreciate it and step back for a moment and actually see and experience it, good or bad, that I can actually become stronger on the other side.
Let's just talk about your show.
Sure. Yep,
so where are we at with the show? When is it coming out? All that good stuff.
Right. So we've already done our, just shot our pilot. And so we are literally in what they call pitch season. So you go around to the various networks, and we're excited about it, and you try to get them to actually pick it up and have it on a larger scale than what we can achieve on our own. Yeah. So we're talking to a couple of networks literally, as we speak, and we're hoping that literally it's about 6 weeks more pitch season left, that will come out with a platform that's even greater than just the current platforms, which of course are social media and things like that, like YouTube. That's always the dream, because as you not only try to get bigger and sort of more expansive in terms of the performers and what they're doing, you're talking about a band and singing and actually having artists that can help support the performer. You really definitely need more of a stage. Literally, we started off just shooting in a studio, and now we're onto a sound stage. So now we need a production.
Yeah.
So so it's an exciting process for me. I love it. It's been certainly a very incredible type of journey, because I tell people this just started, like many people started their podcasts with Zoom, and to actually walk into a studio and know, okay, we're going to be here all day and recording is definitely a very major leap, to say the least.
Well, I'm excited for you, man. I'm grateful that you gave me the firsties. I'm going to get on, take it on there with Beat Vessel and put your message out there, because I really do believe that the mental health aspect of life is so important. And coming from the streets, it's so important. I think everybody and their mama needs counseling, regardless of where you come from, right? What you deal with, it's not just for us, it's for everybody, right? And I'm really grateful that they have soldiers like you that are going out there saying, hey, there's a way.
We're here. No, absolutely. And likewise, in the same type of way of you being able to do that through your platform, it's really amazing, because so many times people say, well, I don't have expertise in that. I don't have a degree. But as you stated, just like it affects all of us, imagine that every single one of us, to whatever pearls we could give, hey, here's what I learned, like you said, hey, bro, my sister, my cousin, here's what I'm going through. And certainly as I've gotten to talk to more artists and more people, I see that some of them are getting more comfortable to say, I'm just letting you know I went through this, and here's what I was able to find, and here's the resources that I used for it. And I recognized it as it was happening, or I heard when somebody told me I could actually hear, not just sit there and ignore it or push them away, but I could actually hear that it really seemed like I was going through a bit much, pulling back. This is just so much the circle of life and the cycle that we go through as we go through each day, each week, each year, that it really starts to become understandable once you see it that way, that, okay, we are all going to, as you said, face hardships, downturns, things that are negative. A lot of because what we're often looking at is all filtered, just like the show. Someone has had a chance to
edit it
done, get their hair done, get the song exactly correct, put the tracks together, make the movie perfect, and make their life, for the information you're getting, seem like it is just so wonderful because look at this car, or look at this, or how they're dressed, or how they carry themselves. And all of that has been, to a large extent, manufactured. And so, to the most extent that we accept that and realize, okay, we're doing the same things. We're getting up nice. We're trying to get our gusty selves together. We're going to put on some nice clothes. We're going to go and present. There, on the inside, may not quite be that same feeling and that same strength. So that's part of the
smile.
Yep,
the
exactly.
Smile. You just gotta put it on and do it.
Right. So hearing those real stories, hearing those struggles, like you said, and we all go through them. All of our parents, our grandparents, you can learn so much from them. Our teachers, people that we respect, and just not being afraid to share. And hey, let's just be human and admit that we are not perfect. We're imperfect people trying to get to an imperfect world.
That's right. Because I say it's the same thing about the church. You think the church is okay once you walk in the doors? It's not humans walking there.
Right, to spend some time. It's a group of people, as I often describe, who have a similar mindset and a similar goal, but we're all coming from different pathways with our imperfections. Many people, that's a perfect example where people will push it away and say, there's no way that can be of any help for me. Take what you can and what you feel you need to grow and look to the positive, as opposed to, well, let me see who else is doing something that I don't agree with and say, look, I can't be part of it. Because we can all learn from everyone. We can learn from falling down. We can learn from the person that's in prison. We can learn from our parents. So being open to that. It's just a challenge. We sometimes know almost too much for our own good. And so we want to make sure that we put some positivity in there, but also realize that, yes, life will give a lot of negativity, and we've got to sometimes filter it out. It's okay to turn off that cell phone. It's okay to not post every exact feeling you share. And get so caught up in it. The same with politics. And then certainly it's important sometimes for us to just say, what are the positive things that I'm bringing to the world, to my family, to myself, and how do I continue to increase doing those and work with people like yourself who are trying to do the same. So I love what you guys are doing, and I kid you not, I was really surprised. I was like, are you serious? They want to talk to me. They want to talk to a doctor? I'm like, okay. Let's do it.
Yeah, man, because I care about my people, you
Sure.
know, and I want to uplift and give whatever, the way that I always do it is God taught me how to leave with my hands open. So no matter what wisdom I get or anything I get, I always need to pass it on. I always need to be a giver of that knowledge, right? And so if somebody could be listening to this and realize that, hey, they cool, I could go over here and talk to somebody, tell them about what I did, or how I'm feeling, or why am I angry all the time?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's cool. Like you started it off. There is so much pent up energy and anger because we've been forced to slow down. I see it all the time. We rush. And where is it we're really trying to get to? Well, I'm trying to get home. Okay, so you are going to get there. Let's do that safely. Well, I'm trying to get to this job. Okay, it's certainly going to be there. I know they're going to pressure you, but let's start a little earlier and not have and I can't do so and so. But how do I entertain myself and enjoy my family or my friends without it always having to be a big expensive and or a big media type of experience? So I try to tell them, and even with my own kids, let's put the device down. And of course, they're just as grumpy about doing it as anybody else would. And let's go for a walk. Oh, damn, go for a walk. Go to the park. What are you talking about? So I said, that's all that's open and available. Well, we don't need, yes, we actually do. We need to spend time together as a unit and go for a walk, sometimes sit by the beach, sometimes just look at the water and absorb all the positive things that are in life. And then the last little saying, we can, potentially have to end it with this. I tell people that if you do a little bit of that walking and you walk on a mountain and really spend time, just a few minutes, 10 or 15 minutes, it could be a small little park even, every day doing that, you notice all the changes. If you drive by that mountain, it looks the same. Walking on that mountain, you see this tree is fallen, there's some animal entrails over here, that one passed on, that one left some souvenirs behind, that rock is split. You really get to see the changes. So the point being that many times if we can slow ourselves down to really just absorb, Mama used to always say, smell the roses. And that's really what she meant. Sometimes it's okay to really say, you know what, I just need to relax. I'm gonna do this or do that, but let me just slow it down a little bit and really absorb life around me, and also not internalize all the negative. They're trying to attack me, they're trying to get me, because then, as you state, people will project anger and frustration. I'm mad at COVID. Like, disease has been around forever and they're not going anywhere. They're mad that you're here. So they want to take over too. So if it's a war that we're having, we got to sit there and, okay, I need to stay in, because this is not a good thing to try to fight just so I can be in a setting that may have too many people, may have germs spreading. So I think those little pearls are slowing down and smelling those roses can really help our mental health a lot too, so that we're not only absorbing stress, because then people will project stress.
Well, Dr. Lewis, I want to thank you for your time. It's been a blessing to have you, to know you now, and hope we can catch it on the flip side, and just have a great week, and blessings.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks so much for all the work you're doing. Thanks for all the positivity. Much love and all the best with your platform, your show, and all the stuff you're doing. Thanks so much, Joe.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
What up, dog?